What is the real cost of a sneaker? If you look at a premium pair of Nike shoes on a store shelf, you might see a price tag of $200, $500, or even $1,000. You probably assume that this price reflects elite engineering, premium leather, and advanced sports science. But you would be wrong. Legally and operationally, Nike is not a manufacturing company. They do not own a single sneaker factory. They don't hire the factory workers, and the actual physical cost of making their most famous shoes is less than $30. Behind the iconic Swoosh logo lies the world's most aggressive marketing machine. Nike doesn't sell shoes. They sell artificial scarcity, carefully manufactured dopamine, and cultural status. They took an industry built on rubber and canvas and turned it into a high-stakes financial market. Today, we are stripping away the hype to look inside the real business of Nike. From the dark reality of their outsourced supply chains to the digital algorithms designed to trigger your shopping addiction, this is the story of how a company built a global empire by selling you an illusion. To understand how Nike became an economic juggernaut, we have to look back at the radical business blueprint laid out by its founder, Phil Knight. In the 1960s, Knight realized a fundamental truth about global economics. Manufacturing goods in Western nations was becoming too expensive. He asked a revolutionary question. What if we leave the brutal, low-margin work of operating factories to someone else and focus 100% of our energy on design and marketing? This was the birth of the asset-light business model. Nike completely outsourced its production to independent factories across Asia, initially Japan, then moving to South Korea, Taiwan, and eventually China, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Nike didn't pay for factory maintenance, machinery upgrades, or industrial real estate. By avoiding the heavy financial burdens of manufacturing, Nike kept its corporate structure incredibly flexible. Every single dollar saved was funneled directly into a massive, unstoppable advertising budget. They signed the world's greatest athletes, blanketed television networks with high-concept commercials, and built an untouchable brand identity. But this model had a dark side. By outsourcing production to third-party suppliers in developing nations, Nike created a system with almost no direct oversight. In the 1990s, the curtain was pulled back, exposing sweatshops, extreme labor exploitation, and child labor within Nike's supply chain. The brand faced a massive global boycott. It was an existential crisis that forced Nike to reinvent its strategy entirely. They realized that to survive, they couldn't just sell sports anymore. They had to sell culture. Nike's ultimate stroke of business genius was shifting from a sports equipment company to a luxury tech-adjacent monopoly. And they achieved this through a concept called manufactured scarcity. In a traditional retail model, if a product is highly successful, the company manufactures millions of copies to satisfy demand and maximize sales. But Nike realized that absolute abundance kills a brand's prestige. If everyone is wearing the same sneaker, the shoe loses its social value. So Nike created the drop ecosystem. They began collaborating with high-fashion designers, hip-hop artists, and luxury brands to create hyper-limited editions of their classic sneakers. They intentionally manufacture far fewer pairs than the market demands. If 1 million people want a specific sneaker, Nike might only produce 10,000 pairs worldwide. This triggers a deep psychological mechanism in the human brain: the fear of missing out. When a product is scarce, our brains automatically perceive it as highly valuable. Nike turned buying sneakers into a high-octane competitive game. Suddenly, teenagers and adult collectors weren't buying shoes because they needed to run a marathon. They were buying them because they wanted to win a prize that nobody else could have. This artificial scarcity directly birthed a massive, multi-billion-dollar underground economy, the sneaker resale market. Platforms like StockX and GOAT turned Nike sneakers into a volatile asset class, functioning exactly like a digital stock market, complete with price charts, market caps, and trading volume. A pair of Nikes bought at retail for $150 could instantly be flipped online for $1,500 just minutes later. For years, critics wondered why Nike allowed this to happen. Why leave hundreds of millions of dollars of profit on the table for independent resellers? The answer is simple. The resale market is the greatest free marketing campaign in corporate history. Every time a headline screams about a Nike sneaker selling for $10,000, it reinforces the illusion that the Nike brand is an elite luxury status symbol. It keeps the core brand hyper-relevant without Nike spending a single dollar on traditional ads. Furthermore, Nike built the ultimate gatekeeper tool to control this ecosystem, the Sneakers app. The app uses gamified draws and lottery systems. It tracks user behavior, rewards brand engagement, and collects vast amounts of consumer data. By turning the act of purchasing into a digital lottery, Nike commands a direct-to-consumer digital pipeline, bypassing traditional retail stores completely and locking consumers directly into their proprietary ecosystem. To maintain this absolute dominance, Nike's internal design process is heavily inverted. They do not look at what it costs to build a sneaker. They look at what price point will maximize the cultural hype. The physical ingredients of a premium Nike shoe, the synthetic mesh, the molded rubber sole, the cardboard packaging, cost a microscopic fraction of the final retail price. The real investment is the emotional markup. Nike spends billions of dollars annually on demand creation. They sponsor entire sports leagues, purchase the cultural real estate of social media feeds, and engineer viral moments. They figured out that consumers will gladly pay 1,000% premium if they believe that the logo on their feet grants them entry into an exclusive global club. The next time you lace up a pair of sneakers, look past the leather and the laces. You are not wearing a product manufactured by a footwear company. You are wearing a highly optimized piece of cultural currency. Nike proved that in the modern global economy, owning the physical factory is completely meaningless. The true power lies in owning the consumer's mind. They didn't change the way shoes are made. They changed the way humanity calculates worth. If you found this deep dive into the hidden marketing mechanics of Nike fascinating, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. What is the most you've ever paid for a single pair of shoes? See you in the next video.